before the introduction of the very esteemed, revered Vidwans and Vidushis here, all of us would like to just sing one song together. Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram Namami me manasa shirasa nada tanumanisham shankaram namami me manasa shirasa nada tanumanisham modakara nigamotama sama modakara nigamotama sama vedasaram varam varam vedasaram varam varam sama vedasaram varam varam nadatanu manisham shankaram namami me manasa shirasa nadatanu manisham satyojatadi panchavakraja satyojatadi panchavakraja sarigamapadani varasaptaswara sarigamapadani varasaptaswara vidyalolam vidalitakalam vidyalolam vidalitakalam vimalahridaya tyagarajapalam vimalahridaya tyagarajapalam nadatanu manisham shankaram namami me manasa shirasa nadatanu manisham.
Namaskaram and good evening to everyone. We are very happy to be present here for the panel discussion on Sangeeta Soujanya. At the behest of Shri Shri Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal and Shri Shri Krishna Premi Swamigal, Guru Srimati Vishaka Hari has penned a book, Sangeeta Soujanya, that was released last year. The book mainly throws light on whether music is for one and all and spirituality behind music. And that is the theme for today's panel discussion. Without further ado, I would like to hand it over to Dr. Deepa Ramachandran ji to introduce our panelists.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My humble namaskarams to all of our esteemed panelists and to all of our audience tonight. I would like to invite Vishaka ji to please honor our panelists. We have Guru Srimati Anuradha Sridhar, Anuradha ji feels privileged to carry the torch of the Lalgudi School of Music, a school that embodies perfection, purity, and melody. Her family of legendary musicians can trace back its roots to Tyagaraja Swami himself. Her great-great-grandfather, Sri Lalgudi Ramayya, was the direct disciple of Tyagaraja Swami. Anuradha ji was trained in music by her mother, Srimati Brahmanandam, the ingenious violinist, and sister of legendary Lalgudi ji Jayaraman sir. As a soloist, Anuradha ji, with her guru, has performed in various prestigious venues around the world. As a reputed accompanist, Anuradha ji has accompanied many stalwart musicians of Carnatic music in several concerts. In the last 3.5 decades of living here in the Bay Area, Anuradha ji has enjoyed a myriad of musical forays, both in the Indian as well as the mainstream world. Anuradha ji is actively involved in promoting the cause of Carnatic music. She has volunteered her skill for community fundraiser shows, for organizations such as Asha, Shankara Eye Foundation, Shankara Netralaya, Swayam Krushi, ISKCON, Livermore Temple, and Chinmaya Mission, just to name a few. Anuradha ji has collaborated with musicians from other genres in the Pan-Asian Music Festival hosted by Stanford University and San Francisco Music World. She has choreographed and performed Vadya Vrinda, a musical ensemble of various South Indian classical instruments involving many local Bay Area artists. Anuradha ji is a top artist of the Indian Doordarshan, and she has been recognized many times by leading organizations like Madras Music Academy for her outstanding performances. Thank you so much, Anuradha ji, for being here today. We have Guru Srimati Jyoti Raghavan ji. Jyoti Raghavan ji is a Bharatanatyam dancer, a choreographer with over 4 decades of teaching experience. She has performed extensively, choreographed several dance productions. Her school, Nrityanjali, is celebrated in the New England area for the strict guidelines it follows and the tradition of teaching the art form in an authentic manner. Jyoti ji, though retired from an active teaching career, has moved to Oregon. She's still active in working on special projects and teaching senior students. A recipient of the prestigious Choreographers Fellowship from the National Endowment of Arts, she has produced works like Krishna Trishna, based on Nammarvar's outpourings, Nayaki, based on Tirumangayarvar's life and works, Koda, a Periyarvar Petteditha Pen Pillai, based on Periyarvar and Andal's verses, to name a few. Her passion is spreading the words of the Alvars and Acharyas through dance and storytelling. Srimati Jyoti ji is a disciple of Sri S.K. Rajaratnam and follows the Varuvur school and tradition. She started performing in India and has performed extensively in India before moving to the US and establishing her dance school, Nrityanjali. Please welcome my personal dance guru and welcome to you, Jyoti ji. Next, we welcome Guru Sri Palghat Ramprasad ji, placed amongst the 50 most influential soft powers in India by Open Magazine for 2 consecutive years and recipient of the prestigious Sangeeta Nataka Academy's Yuva Puraskar in 2019. Palghat Ramprasad ji is the grandson of the legendary mridangist Palghat Mani Iyer ji. Ramprasad ji started singing and learning music from a very young age from his father, Sri T.R. Rajaram, and has performed his first concert in 1988 at the Youth Association for Classical Music, popularly called YACM in Chennai, when he was less than 8 years old. Ramprasad ji was accompanied on stage by legendary artists such as Sri T.K. Murthy, late Sri Palghat Raghu, and Sri T.V. Gopalakrishnan. He has been awarded several titles and accolades from many leading institutions, both within and outside of India. Academically also, Sri Ram Prasad ji has many accomplishments under his belt. He's a trained economist, a PhD from the University of Georgia, and was a visiting postdoctoral fellow at the Harvard School of Public Health. We welcome Ram Prasad ji. Thank you so much for being here. Next we have Guru Sri Hari Devnath ji. Sri Hari Devnath ji is a disciple of Sangeeta Kalanidhi, Guru Sri Neyveli Santana Gopalan. As a performing artist, he is a regular at various music festivals across the US and online and enjoys the collaboration of support of phenomenal contemporary Vidwans and Vidushis. As a founder of Sri Paduka Academy, Hariji has nurtured the growth of several young musicians, many of whom are performing artists and teachers in the US and India. In 2025, Hariji received the prestigious Professor T.R. Subramaniam Award at the Cleveland Aradhana for the best teacher in North America. Hari ji is recognized as a contributor to the Bay Area Carnatic Music Community for his seva through education and support and promoting classical Indian arts. Welcome, Hari ji. Next we have Guru Srimati Kasturi Shivakumar. Srimati Kasturi Shivakumar is one of the prime disciples of Sangeeta Kalanidhi Sri Neyveli R. Santana Gopalan. She is a full-time musician, teaching and performing widely in North America and in India, participating in different festivals and Sangeeta Utsavams. Kasturiji holds a master's degree in music from University of Madras. She has also learned under Sangeeta Kalanidhi Sri B. Rajam from whom she has learned many group kritis and rare Dikshitar kritis. She teaches music with unparalleled dedication and passion and is very highly sought after as a music teacher in the Bay Area. She is one of the key coordinators for the Epic Choir in Cleveland Tyagaraja Aradhana, which is a musical creation of Sri Neyveli Santana Gopalan. Srimati Kasturi ji and her husband, Dr. Shiv Kumar, were awarded the Professor T.R. Subramaniam Award for Teaching Excellence by the prestigious Cleveland Tyagaraja Aradhana. Kasturi ji and her husband, Dr. Shiv Kumar Bhatt, are the founding directors of International Academy of Indian Music, popularly called IAIM Music. Through their innovative teaching methods, they instill awareness about musical tradition and inspire students to pay attention to bhakti, bhavam, intricacies, and nuances in our divine art form. Welcome, Kasturi ji. Now over to Abhirami ji. We'll start the session.
So right away we are going to begin with questions from children regarding music. So basically this panel is Sangeeta Soujanya. So let's see what questions the children have, what they have understood about music. Right from morning we have been having workshops teaching Tyagaraja Swami Divyanamas, Purandaradasar Devarnamas, bhajans, abhangs, namavalis, some swaras, calculations, kanak, korve, all that. Let us see at the end of this session. This is Sangeeta Soujanya Ella. So let us see what questions the children have for all of us.
Namaskaram, my name is Anirudh and I'm from Wisconsin. So my question is, what's Shastra Sangeetam and what's the purpose of it?
Shastriya Sangeetam.
Yeah,
What is Shastriya Sangeetam and what is the purpose of it? So what is Shastriya Sangeetam? The word Shas, Sanskrit root, means to rule. Dharma Shasta, ipo inge irkarliya Ayyappa, is called Dharma Shasta. Dharmatta Shasanam pandrathu. Shasanamna enna? Regulation. As what he said, regulations and rules to establish dharma. So our Shastriya Sangeeta versus, as he said, the other Western music system, namakku we have a set of rules and regulations within which grammar we are supposed to sing. Inside that we do have scope for lot of manodharma. Next question.
Namaste, Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. My name is Shyama Gauri. I am from Dallas, Texas. Oh, Dallas. My question is that why is it important to pay respects to our Guru? Why does Guru Parampara, what does Guru Parampara mean in music? And what is meant by Shishya Kulam?
This question is for Guru Srimati Kasturi ji.
So, paying respect to Guru is just not only a tradition that we follow, but it's very, very important for learning itself. Okay? Guru is basically, they are the link between the student and the divine. For music, actually, this really helps. If you pay respects to Guru, you will automatically develop humility, which is very, very essential for learning. Okay? So, Guru is a person who actually opens the student's mind to impart the aesthetics, the bhakti, bhavam. So, they will actually, it will open up the bhavam and intricacies and again the humility also, automatically it comes. And they are not only just a person, they carry a generation of music. So that also helps on learning and things. Guru Parampara is the lineage. So each school, Parampara is like when it comes from the, what can I say? It's like it's from generation on, it is transferred. For example, in those days, you didn't have all these recordings and all. All the music or even Veda, it was just Karna Parampara. It's like transferred only through teaching and again teaching to the next set of students. So that's how that lineage has formed, and that's called Parampara. So that's what is Guru Parampara. And
Sishyakulam. Please answer.
Sishyakulam is, I don't know in what context she asked, but I am very, very happy to say that we are from Neyveli Sishyakulam, and our Guru Shri Neyveli Santana Gopalan has coined this word Sishyakulam to basically, you know, he made a very big network of students all around the world, and who learns from him remotely in online. Even though we are all far away, we have a very big network, and we are very, very proud to share our experiences with learning from our Guru with each other. So the family of Sishya is Sishyakulam.
Like how we have Vijayashri, right? Vijayashrians, அப்படின்னு ஏன் சொல்றோம்? Likewise, they say Sishyakula. They have Gurukula Mari, they have coined that word Sishyakula. Next question.
Next question is for Ram Prasad ji.
Namaste, Radha Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. My name is Meena. I'm from San Jose, and my question is: can one be great in Carnatic music but not have devotion?
Can one be great in Carnatic music but not have devotion? Super.
So you come all the way from San Jose to ask this question. Yeah, it's a great question.
Miles don't matter, mileage does.
Wow.
And your answer is being recorded and live streamed. So the mileage goes further.
Yeah, just to continue on what has been established as what Shastriya Sangeetam is. So there are different genres of music, as we all know. So one genre is Carnatic or classical or Shastriya Sangeetam, as we know today. Just as how there are different kinds of soup, right? And if you want to call a soup tomato soup, the main ingredient in that is what? Tomato. So if you're calling a specific kind of music Shastriya Sangeetam, the most important component is Bhakti and Dharma. So without that component, probably anything that you sing or play can be called music, for sure. And there are no restrictions, there are absolutely no rules. There could be several rules that we don't know, we are aware of, we are not aware of, but just to re-establish the roots of our Shastriya Sangeetam, whether we like it or not, is Bhakti and Dharma. That being said, your question about can someone be great in Carnatic music but still not be a Bhaktiman or a devout person, right? That's the question. Now, let's forget how we define great, okay? Because, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a very subjective thing. It depends on what parameter you define greatness about, right? So is it the footfall, is it the kind of Kampodi that I sing, is the kind of Sangadis that I sing in a ragam, or is the kind of songs that I sing, is it the number of concerts that I perform, is it the kind of audience to whom I perform? So, I mean, there could be so many parameters which define greatness of an artist. So without getting into the details of what greatness would be defined as. See, even Sanatana Dharma, which is the root of our Shastriya music, that has accommodated all kinds of people to follow it. Even people who don't believe in God have a place in Sanatana Dharma. Karnataka Sangeetam or Shastriya Sangeetam being an offshoot, an intrinsic offshoot of Sanatana Dharma, since time immemorial, we have had people who have been active performers of this art form, and some of whom might not have had a component of bhakti or who may not have subscribed to this concept called bhakti. It has been there. It is currently now. We see that. I don't see a reason why it would not exist in the future either. But what is the fundamental difference is the question that we need to ask. In the past, even those people who were great, in whichever way we define greatness, those practitioners who might not be necessarily devout people, had the decency to reserve their own faith system or lack of faith system to themselves. They did not cross the line by saying that it is not important to have bhakti to be practicing Shastriya Sangeetam. They didn't say that. And why did they not say that? Let's be very clear about that. A Tyagaraja did not sing Rara Ma Intiki for Palka Tramprasad to sing. And Amba Kamakshi was not created for any other practitioner to sing in a concert. Any song that you hear in a concert has been composed out of the devotion those composers had for the respective deities. We are lucky that those compositions which were created out of bhakti, we are using that to earn name and fame. Right? The least that we could do as a mark of respect is to acknowledge that whatever we sing, the roots have been from devotion. So, just to retrace what my answer was, yes, there have been people who have not been necessarily bhaktimans, who have been practitioners of music, who might have been great in whatever parameter you define. There are people who are very good performers of Carnatic music. I'm not calling them artists, I'm calling them performers. See the difference, okay? So, there are performers who are really good, who are very skillful, but to extricate the component of bhakti and say that you can still be a skillful artist and Carnatic music is a mere entertainment form crosses the border of decency and basic respect.
This is called Netti Adi in Tamil.
Can I add a few words? So, in anything in life, we can make choices, right? So, discrimination, viveka, is a very important aspect. So we can choose to be good, we can choose to be bad. Like that, you can definitely pursue Carnatic music, even though the substratum of the whole music is bhakti. Every composition is based on bhakti and devotion of the composer, like very beautifully said by Ram Prasad ji here. So the choice you can make. So if you make a choice, I want awards, I want fame, I want to be a very good singer, whatever good is, like we rightly said, it is possible, but you only go that far, right? Now, if you choose like Tyagaraja did, or Srimati Swami Dikshidhar did, I want to understand what this purpose of human birth is. I want to achieve the purpose of human birth, and I think that is one important question that we all have to understand here. Just to deviate a little bit here, when a child is born, we teach them spirituality, we teach them religion, we teach them gods and slokams, everything. But how many of us parents say, do you know where you came from? Do you know where you are going? What is the purpose of your human birth? We never touch upon that. That is the real knowledge that we are all lacking, and we are all confused about why we are doing music. Why are we doing, why do we need fame? Why do we earn money? We lose track of what is the ultimate purpose of life. We'll come to the answer. If anybody can answer that later, we'll come to that. But because we don't know that, we are lost. But these composers knew it right from the beginning. And in song after song after song, they have tried to tell us. In every Veda tells us, every shloka tells us, there's universally every guru, every religious guru tells us the same message. But as human beings, we never question and we never teach. Anybody knows the answer?
Can I try?
Yes, please.
So, in Duduku Gala, what we all sang yesterday, Tyagaraja Swami says, Manava tanu durlava manuchunenji paramananda mundaleka. Manava tanu durlava, as Anuradha ji beautifully put it right into our soul. Apde manasa techudtu what she said. This human birth is so very rare. Manava tanu durlava. And what should we attain? Paramananda mundaleka. But what are we doing right now? Madamatsara kama loba mohula kudasudai mosapodigaka. Mosam poindirkom. So that is Tyagaraja Swami's answer to your question, madam. Is it?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. He sings, no? Teliyaleru Rama. Bhakti margamu teliyaremo. What does he say? We are roaming this earth, trying to get wealth, trying to get this and that, and we are lost. What are we born for? To merge with the divine. How much ever you all understand or not, because that's where we came from. We came from there, we have to merge back. The journey is not complete until you reach home, right? So, if as musicians, you're so lucky that if you pursue music, you are talking and singing and breathing and living this. And as a human being, what more can you have than that? And so why not bring that bhakti and attain the full benefit of being a musician?
Just one last small conclusion before the next question. And Endaro Mahanubhavulu also, as she kept saying, Tyagaraja Swami's charanams keep coming to my mind. He says, Patita pavanudane paratparuni kurinchi paramartamagu nijamargamuto. Paratparuni kurinchi paramartamagu nijamargamuto. That is the nijamarga. That is the correct marga. So she just pointed out the correct marga for us. You can choose the Chakani Rajamargamu or get caught by going on a one-way or a no-way street and then end up with all filthy things. But the Rajamarga is, Nijamarga is Paramarthamagu Kurinchi. Avara Noki, that is it. Next question, please. Very beautiful answer, Anuradha ji.
Next question is for Guru Srimati Jyoti ji.
Namaskaram, Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. My name is Lasya and I'm from Mountain House. And my question for you is, what is the relationship between Carnatic music and Bharatanatyam, and where does this deep relationship have its roots?
Very good question. And I'm the only dancer in the panel. Very special. Carnatic music and dance cannot be separated. First of all, in Natya Shastra, when Natya, first of all, I don't like to use dance and music. Those two words really bother me. It's Natyam and Sangeetam. And they cannot be separated because in Natya Shastra, which was written, I don't know, 2nd century BC, Natyam, Sangeetam, drama, everything was one and the same. So they were not different art forms at all. And as recent as 150 years ago or 100 years ago, Devadasis, who were the only ones who were allowed to learn Natyam, they were all experts in Sangeetam as well. And they knew Itihasas and Puranas, and they knew all the allied arts. So they had there was no separation. They sang and danced. But only when we came to the proscenium stage, which means a stage like this, and they started dancing on the stage instead of the temples, the musicians started sitting on the side and singing. So they were separate. What was the second part of your question?
Where does this deep relationship have its roots?
Oh, absolutely. It's extremely, like I said, there is no separation between Sangeetam and Natyam. And if a person is trained in Carnatic music as a dancer, I hate to use the dancer, but a person who does the Natyam, if she's trained in Sangeetam, then her dance itself looks very different. Okay? Because she can use the different Sangatis to express herself much better. Okay? What is the song that comes to my mind? What did we sing yesterday, Sahana? Vandanamu. Yeah, inni kartala padino. Vandanamu Raghunandana. First, Veru Raghunandana padna. Veru, you just stand as Raghunandana. And if you say Raghunand, no, you just stand as Raghunandana. But Raghunandana.
For the second Sangadi, Raghunanda Sanchari Baba. Look at that. She can hold the mic for you. Yeah.
So if you're
we would like to see that again. The second Sangadi, Raghunandana.
Raghunandana.
Ah.
Okay. And also, if you just say Raghunandana, Nandana. Okay?
Raghukulattoda Nandana.
Nandana. That's just a plain singing. But if you use the Sangati, then you can say Dasharathas Raghunandana.
Ayyo.
Okay? So if you're familiar with Carnatic music, whether you're a full-fledged Sangeeta Vidwan or not, you're still able to express yourself much better if you have an ear for music, Sangeetam. I don't like to use music and dance. It really bothers me, but I keep using that.
So, which means for every Sangadi you will be able to correlate, or knowing music more helps dance, because when the ornamentation, when the second Sangadi or the third Sangadi, she's able to, because she has the ear for music, she's able to show that in dance gestures.
Exactly. And then even when you're just singing Rama Rama with different Sangatis, you can show the entire Ramayanam just singing Rama in different Sangatis. So music and dance, Sangeetam and Natyam cannot be separated. They are an integral part of each other. There is no Natyam without Sangeetam.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Can we have a few gestures of Rama for few Rama Sangadis? Ram Prasad, can you just sing?
I'll just impromptu, I'll sing Sangatis. Okay. I'll start with that. Rama. Now, assertive Rama. Let me start with assertive Rama. 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 Rama.
That was simply beautiful. We saw Kausalya, we saw Sita, we saw everybody, we saw Vishwamitra through fondling that Rama. That Rama was there, Kausalya was there, Sita was there, everybody in your eyes.
Next question is for Guru Shri Hari Dev.
ஒரே ஒரு பாயிண்ட். இப்போ மியூசிக் தெரிஞ்சதுனால எவ்வளோ என்ன பண்ண முடிஞ்சது. அப்போ when you understand the meaning and you know the bhakti that was in the song, when you sing, how will it be? You can answer your own question, do you need devotion or not?
Wow, that is a beautiful answer.
Yeah, in fact, when they were talking about bhakti, it's like a plastic flower. If it's a dance, I mean, Natyam or Sangeetam, without bhakti, it's like looking at a plastic flower, without any fragrance.
That is simply, my goodness, each of them, I think each of them are Ratnas here. Endaro Mahanubhavalu Andariki Vandanamu. Next question, please.
Next question is for Guru Shri Hari Devnath ji.
Namaste, Radha Krishna, Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. My name is Shreyas Gudivara and I'm from Dallas, Texas. So my question stems from the fact that some people, not all people, but some people find it hard to balance Carnatic music with their other passions for other academic interests or maybe some other hobbies that they might have. So how does one bridge that gap between their interests, or do they eventually have to choose between Carnatic music and that said interest?
Oh, right. No, that's a great question. It's a tough question, actually, to be honest with you. No, don't be sorry. You asked the right question. Let me start with this. I don't think I'm qualified to answer that because I've lived all my life with that dilemma, right? And especially with the decision attached hanging at the end, right? Where you're asking yourself, do I really want this or that? I'm passionate about both equally. Let's say, is it about, making some sort of a, doing a research program that you really want to do versus showing up for a workshop, right? My simplistic answer, and I'm not trying to tell you that I have a simple suggestion for you. If you personally are going through this dilemma, I totally relate to what you're going through. I don't think I'm qualified, or even I don't have a crystal ball or anything to tell you, here, use this and life will become easier. No, it's not that at all, right? So the dilemma that we all go through is trying to choose between two things that we love and we really deeply meaningful things that we want to do. And where I have, where I come from, I have struggled with, like I said, this kind of a challenge. But what I've learned over the years, and this is not necessarily clarity that I was born with, this is clarity listening to other people, smarter, wiser people around me have told me this, and I think I'll put it as simply as possible. Time can change things. What you are passionate about today, you go after today. It doesn't mean your passion for the other thing is likely to change. Which means two things. One, in a serial way. Go after thing 1, get through, go to any meaningful stage you want to get through to thing 1, and thing 2 you will have time for later on in your life. Now, this does leave a little bit of a burden for you because you kind of want to stay as much in touch with thing 1 and thing 2 as much as you can, right? And this is the hard part. This is where you disciplining yourself, finding a way forward for both things to work, does not mean equally, does not mean at any given time, any snapshot of time, you're not spending equal time between thing 1 and thing 2. But as long as you're able to get through this thought process, right, and tell yourself, it's okay, I didn't do my practice today for, let's say, if it's for Sangeetam, I didn't do my practice today, try to make time tomorrow, right? Try to make time 2 days in a row. And that's sort of how, I think many of my friends that we all went through this process, we all had to step through that the hard way. And I think this is where, to be honest with you, I found this balance only after I turned 30, and I had to tell myself every day that I found the balance. So it was a combination of two. It's a lot of brainwashing happening, self-brainwashing happening there. I don't know if I answered your question. I'll offer this to others to help.
I always tell my students, music or arts is something you can do best when you're young. And like you put money into the bank, practice as much as you can when your responsibilities are very less, and put a lot of practice and knowledge into the bank. Now the world has changed, we all want to do multiple things. So when you are in your 20s, you still want to acquire the biggest degree in the world, you can still have music. So these two cater to two different things. Your career gives you a livelihood. Music is for your soul. Nothing can substitute what music and arts can do for you. Academics cannot substitute it. So you don't get it anywhere else, and you need that time for yourself. One great Vidwan, our Kumareshji, asked me a question, what does music mean to you? It's a very difficult answer, and all of us should, it was very difficult for me to define. Is it a companion? Is it my life? Is it my pastime? Is it my hobby? I just found it was much more than any of that. It was that space I can go into by myself where I forget the world, which doesn't come to you in any other way. Maybe a little bit when you read a book, but you're still in that fairy tale of the book. But here, you're in your own space. So don't give up music for whatever it is.
Next question is for Guru Srimati Anuradha ji.
Namaste, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Radhe Krishna.
Sorry,
Go again. My name is Sahana.
Please be louder.
Oh, sorry. My name is Sahana, and I am from San Jose. And my question is, why should we perform concerts? What are the, what purpose do they serve?
Wonderful question. Let me just tell you how it used to be before and how it has become now, right? In my times, at least in our family, in the Lalgudi family for the last 5 generations, most children have boarded the stage when we were 10 or 11. But one thing my grandfather was always saying, Mede erarthukku tagudi vandurtha, abdin he'll ask, are you ready? Are you ready? Only then you can go. It doesn't matter, the age didn't matter. And they didn't put us there just because we were 10 years old or 11 years old. Only we worked so hard from 3 years old to 4 years old. Many hours we worked, and we had to really play to some quality level before we could go on stage. And not everybody was that fortunate. Those who were in the family were able to go quickly like that. But now, when you teach the Vinayaka Kriti first, the first Ganesha Kriti, immediately the child performs in the Ganesha temple somewhere. Next Kriti you learn, you go and perform somewhere else. So this has become the trend. one of the reasons we've started doing this is to motivate people to continue learning so that they'll be inspired to learn something to go, right? Or a small joke. My cousin sister was a great violinist, Lalgudi Viji. So she had mentioned to one of her students, you should be attending my concerts because you learn a lot from the Guru's concerts. This whole season, you have not attended a single concert of mine. The father said, Madam, I too have something to ask you. I've been meaning to ask you. For the last 3 years, she's been learning. She's still not boarded the stage. She's still not boarded the stage. So I've been having this question in my mind. So this is the trend right now. It is not necessary to always do concerts. One other example I'll give you. When Lalgudi Mama passed away, I got many phone calls from Canada and all over from older generation people who I didn't even know. These were random calls I got. And some of these people were literally in tears telling me, Anu, what are we going to do? He's gone, what are we going to do? These people have not seen him on a day-to-day basis. But they all told me that their life would come to a standstill because he's not there. And his music was the one that helped them cross the pains of their life. Okay? And it has given them so much strength in their lives. Now, if we do concerts and if there is a benefit like that, it is really worth doing concerts. So we transform people's lives, we transform our lives, we spread the good around, and we live to highest standards. Yes, concerts can be performed, and concerts are not limited to only few people, but you should also be entertaining. The people who come to the concert should feel like it was worth their time to listen to you. So it's, we have to think through that.
So you perform concerts, you transform other people's lives, and you also get transformed during that journey. It's a beautiful journey. And she brought tears through her answer. So can feel how fulfilling her journey is, how beautifully she has understood this in-depth, this beautiful art. And we are so fortunate that you're sharing this truth with all the kids and even adults. It's very important to understand that performance is not a show-off. It's not a talent show. It's not a reality show. Idella and the pandrale hepo. Super singers and the super singers and the super singers. Adikaha to be a superhuman being. To be a superhuman being.
Our next question goes to our beloved Guru, Srimati Vishaka Hariji.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. My name is Madhu. I'm from Austin, Texas. My question is, we've been talking about Shastriya Sangeetam for a bit now. What are your thoughts on, I mean, most of us here learn Carnatic music, but we also enjoy other kinds of music, right? Like Western music or like Bollywood, Collywood. What are your thoughts on using Carnatic music or Bharatanatyam fine arts for non-Shastriya stuff, for like film-based productions or something like that?
How about using music and dance for non-Shastriya? You're asking the wrong person. For film-based productions. As such as Anuradha Sridharji put it, how it used to be and how it is now. Abdingartha, she started her answer that way. So let me also start it that way. I'm taking a cue from her. How it used to be, the films in those days. What were the films? Lavakusha, Shakuntalam, Ramayanam, Dashavatara, Harishchandra, Naladamayanti, and Prahlada Charitram, Dhruva Charitram. So the films that were scored for choreographed film as well as the dance, which was choreographed for those films, also brought out the same sattvic emotions. Now the scenario is very different. It is violence. It is not all films, but most of them. Exceptionally good films are there. I'm not I'm not saying that it's not there at all, exceptionally good films, but majority of them, it just goes like dshum, 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 dshum. How do you bring Kambodi or Kalyani or Bhairavi into this dshum, 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 dshum? It's just full of Rajo and Tamo Guna. And see how Srimati Jyoti ji dance, that grace and poise. Will you ever be able to bring that grace and poise into this non-Shastrik film productions that you asked this question? I think you can answer this question yourself. It's basically about bringing the Sattvic element to reach. She said, I'm enjoying the space where it is inner bliss. So can you do that now with film productions? If you are able to do it with a similar theme, then I don't think it is wrong using all the ragas, and because the destination is to bring the Sattvic, the inner bliss. But it is not like that today. So I'm against it. Obviously.
If you don't mind, I'll add to that, right? So the idea that every music form has, like he said, the tomato in the tomato soup versus the value of the process of creating the soup, right? So if you were to separate out the skill or the structure that the music, you can always, as an academic exercise at least, remove the bhakti from the Carnatic music and there is still something left there. Of course, it may not be as meaningful without that bhakti, but there is some element to it. The versatility of Carnatic music is that even if you strip it off that core ingredient, there is still so much to do with it. So I have dabbled with some fusion crossover kind of music here and there, and you get tremendous pleasure in just having some creative fun around that aspect of things, right? So bereft of bhakti, we are not claiming that as Shastriya Sangeetam anymore, but there is still a big element of the core skills
just
that
the
you
Sangeetam.
develop. Just the Sangeetam. Right? Well, you can call it Geetam if not Sangeetam, right? So, so to go back to what she was saying, you know, dance is not yum if Geetam is not sung, right? So.
My humble question for Ram Prasad sir. So, sir, in Carnatic music we have some rigid and fixed sangatis which we cannot change. Like if you take Ma Kelara Vicharamu, the second one is Ma Kelara Vicharamu, third one is Ma Kelara Vicharamu. So I have three sub questions here, which is it the owner of the song, like Tyagaraja or Muthuswami Dikshitar, who created these sangatis? The first one. Second one, when can I, as a performer, inculcate my manodharma? I have a lot of manodharma. So when can I inculcate my manodharma when I sing a song? And what is the right time to inculcate it? What is the wrong time to inculcate? When can I not inculcate the manodharma? That is my question. Thank you, sir.
It's not surprising such a complicated question coming from none other than.
I have not told him anything. He wants to sing, improvise, but I tell him don't, not no.
As far as the first part is concerned, let's be very clear about that. Nobody has met Tyagaraja or Dikshidhar to even validate whether the sangatis that we sing in the order is how they actually composed. Well, let's be clear about that. But there is one logical explanation to the kind of progressions that we handle these days. Just take a simple example. Ra deva di deva. That is one line. If you look at the contours of the sangati, right? Some of them are very requesting. Some of them are assertive. Some of them are ordering, right? If you look at the progression, probably you may want to assume that Tyagaraja starts from requesting, can you, right? The next step is he's treating him as a friend. Why don't you come here, right? The next is he's taking a parental role. You know what? Come here. See, these are the inferences that we can conjure up given the fact that we know the philosophy of how the compositions have been composed. Right? So it could be again, Ma Kelara, or it could be Rara Ma Intiki Daga. Right? Come home. Please, come home. Come home, I'm telling you. Right? Now, this gives us scope for interpretation. Again, this cannot be validated. This cannot be validated. Let's be clear about that. There are so many factual components, and this is a component which is not factual. This is something which we can conjure up. It's a very educated guess, though. I will not be faltering a lot if I made such an educated guess, because we have clear situations. We have clear understanding of the situations in which these compositions were born, right? If I hear Nanu Palimpa, I know the context in which Nanu Palimpa was composed. If I know Rama Nipai, I know the context in which it was created. So based on that, it will not be so outlandish to think that the progression of the Sangatis that we sing currently is the way in which they could have composed. Again, nobody has heard the Pancharatna Kirtanas that, he composed. We don't know if that is this is all, see, our system is faith-based. Okay? The reason why I think Tyagaraja would have composed the way he composed is because I learned from my guru, my father, whom I entirely trust, that he has learned from his guru. And he places entire trust on his guru that that is the way he has learned and he has not compromised. And it goes on and on and on. And if we trace the roots, ultimately it will go and say that, you know what, we have tried our best to not dilute. Right? So it might start from Valajapeta himself, down on and on and on and on, up to my father and up to me and up to my disciple and my disciple's disciple. Right? That is why we say this is related to the second question that you asked, the boundaries of how we can go from Kalpana to Kalpitam. Right? This is why we say Patandra Shuddham is important. If you listen to a Nannu Palimpo of one school, you will say that who that guru is. It used to be, at least. Now it is all avial. Okay. But you clearly used to delineate the styles of music based on the Patandram. Right? As far as the second question is concerned, when do I stop, when do I start, gets back to the trust in your guru. Your guru says no, you assume that he or she knows more than you know. If that submission and humility is there, you won't even have this question. Right? Sorry. Now, more generally, this is what I tell my students when they sing concerts, when they sing Manodharmam. The song, the Kaddanu Variki you sing, right? That is great by itself. Right? You don't have to beautify it with your Manodharmam unless it is really worth it. Okay? If I sing Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Da Ni Sa Kaddanu, I rather not sing the Manodharmam. Right? If a Neraval line is there, I look at the lyrics of the line. If I'm able to add value to the line and every Sangati that I sing in my Kalpanai, then it makes sense to add that. Right? So, this fundamentally depends on whether your guru approves of whether you are really adding value to the song by inculcating your Manodharmam. When do you stop? If we have developed the jnanam by ourselves, we will be so resistant to add any Manodharmam. That's the truth. If I sing a Kavava, I will be so resistant to handle a Neraval and Parani Valarkarune because it's so great. Parani Valarkarune Marayeva. What more Varale am I going to add here? Right? So the whole point is, yes, we have a Kalpane component, we have a Kalpitam component. For the Kalpitam, which is like structured, why don't you stick to it? Why can't you fall in line? If 3 Sangatis is what your guru taught, stick to the 3 Sangatis. Why Manodharmam there? You have a place for that. That place is your Neraval, Swaram, you have Ragam, you have Tanam.
I got it, sir. Yeah.
Do all your improvisations there. But leave that Kriti alone. அது ஒன்றும் பண்ண வேண்டாம் பாவம். It's really good by itself. Right? So it's a combination of the trust and the faith that you place on your guru who gives you a go ahead or not. A. Second, your own understanding of whether you truly feel you are adding any value through your kalpitam to kalpanit to the kalpitam. Third, as long as Neraval or even Swaram is concerned, okay, I mean this, I'm slightly digressing, even the way a Lalgudi Mama or a Painivald or a Maniyarwald plays for concerts, for the same song, the way they accompany for different artists would be very different. The reason is because they internalize the fact that the way each singer sings is the way that person understands that music. Exactly. So this is a simple explanation as to when you draw the line. This Lekana, one simple example. Alathur Brothers sings, Lagodi Mama has played. Lekana, Ramanjanga has sung, Lagodi Mama has played. Lekana, Shamongudi has sung, Lagodi Mama has played. Lekana, MDR has sung, Lagodi Mama has played. After they stop the Pallavi and start the Anupallavi, there are certain places where Lagodi Mama plays. There are certain places where Lagodi Mama doesn't play. That is the kind of jnanam they had, right? So to get to that stage, it is important how you identify and place yourself in the order to say whether I am good enough to go or whether I am listening to my guru. So your stage probably defines what your decision points are.
Thank you, sir.
ரொம்ப ரொம்ப பியூட்டிஃபுல்லாக சொல்கிறார். தியாகராஜர் வந்து சொல்கிறார், சரச சங்கதி சந்தர்ப்ப முகல கிரமுலுராங்கிறார். அந்த ராமர் வந்து அவரோட ஸ்பீச் எப்படி இருக்கும், எவ்வளோ அப்ராப்ரியேட்டாக எந்த டயத்தில் எதை பேசணுமோ எவ்வளோ சாஃப்டாக பேசணுமோ அப்படி தானே பேசுவார். அப்படி சங்கதி இருக்கணும்னு தியாகராஜரே சொல்கிறார். ஸோ
சந்தர்ப்பத்துக்கு ஏற்ற சங்கதி, நாட் ஓவர் டூயிங். அதான் லால்குடி சார் சொல்லுவார் இல்லையா, அளவு தான் அழகு, அளவு பேலன்ஸ் தான் அழகு. ரொம்ப உப்பு போட்டால் தான் நல்லா இருக்குங்கிறதுக்கு எல்லா உப்பையும் அதுலேயே போட்டோன்னா குப்பை தான். அதான் ஸோ எவ்ரிவேர் லிட்டில் உப்புன்னா அதோட பேலன்ஸ் ப்ரப்போர்ஷன் பெரியவாளுக்கு தெரியும் நம்மளை விட.
Yes. Next question goes to
we are running out of time, so quickly.
Shri Haridev Narji.
Namaskaram, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So this is circling back to a point that was brought up before. Chasing fame, financial gain, so attention on social media, this has been a prime factor of that people have been going behind in the recent past. What do you feel is the reason behind this?
Chasing fame. Okay. From the context of music in general, or this is in the context of music?
Sangeeta and
so I think we all want to be recognized at some level, right? Recognition for some is blending in. Recognition for some others is standing out. And for yet others, leaving them alone. Right? In some context, we all want validation for the efforts that we have put in. This is just me intellectualizing some of the observations I have made all my life, right? I think most of the folks who have put in the right effort and think they are doing a very good job of learning a skill, learning an art, doing full justice to the art, they all seek, to some extent, we all seek that validation that they have, whatever effort they have put in place is for the right reason, is rewarding for them, correct? Now, when social media is a perfect new way for us to, with very minimal effort, put ourselves out there and potentially get judged, but seek attention, basically, right? So, if somebody is willing to put themselves out there, first of all, we kind of have to agree to at least salute them for that, because you can always sit in your bedroom and not worry about the rest of the world, and tell yourself that what you have learned is treasure, right? Now, if they're doing this, if they're doing all this for recognition, but they are able to separate the reason why they're doing it from getting this recognition on the side, I feel there is some validation there, right? We talked about this earlier. We talked about why Shastriya Sangeetam, what is the core component of Shastriya Sangeetam, why are we doing this? So from the context of Shastriya Sangeetam giving me my full inner pleasure, I wouldn't need external validation if I did practice this and understand why I'm practicing what I'm practicing, right? This is hard. At least for me, it has always been hard, right? Fully understanding, fully imbibing, fully appreciating, pieces of art and pieces of poetry, all of them coming together with an emotion called bhakti. If we are able to imbibe a lot of that on our own and say that we have achieved something or understood something, you don't need external validation beyond that, right? So that is sort of what I'm thinking is the simpler answer to you. Right? Others may have more.
Raghavanji.
Namaskaram, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. My name is Navya Saraswati Srinivasan and I live in San Jose. My question is, what are the Navarasas in the Natya Shastra and why are they important from a spiritual perspective?
Okay. The 9 rasas are... You should stand up. I can stand up. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Navarasas are Shringara, which is love, Veera, heroic, Karuna, that's a very tricky rasa that is hard for me to translate. It's translated as pathos or Karuna, that's compassion, and Hasya, Adbhuta. Would you like me to do my expressions as well? Oh, then in that case. Shringara, of course, Shringara can be done with so many different layers of Shringara. Shringara is also love towards a man, a woman towards a man towards a woman. And Shringara is also Vatsalya Shringara, which is a mother's love towards the baby. And Bhakti Shringara, which is your devotion to Almighty. Shringara, Veera, heroic, Karuna. That's what we were talking about. Karuna could be translated as compassion or pathos. Adbhuta, wonder, Hasya, that's comic. Bhayanaka, that's fear. Bhibhatsa, disgust. Raudra and Shantam. These are the 9 rasas according to Natya Shastra. But of course, each rasa can flow into another. Just like Vishakaji was talking about how each swaram has that lilting language. When, when you have to form a raga, it's not just plain notes, but the lilting of each note forms the raga. Just like that, in dance also, there is no one rasa that can be separated from the other. So each, like for example, when Sita looks at Rama breaking the bow, that's Adbhuta, and Sita looks at him. Adbhuta, and then it follows and it becomes Shringara when she garlands him. And I have another very different kind of Shringara for you. Bibhatsa becoming Shringara. That is Shurpanaka. Shurpanaka, according to Kambar, she had Pervoy, which means she has this huge mouth and she had copper-like hair. And because she ate all the animals, she had this big stomach, so she was really ugly. And she comes and looks at Rama. And that Shringara happens on her face. Oh my God, this most beautiful being, who's this? With hands that equal only the Ashtadiggajangals, the trunk of the Ashtadigajangal, the elephant. And what I like so much in that description is the Bhuma Devi, who has the ocean for her dress, for her sari. When this person walks, she gets the goosebumps. So look at that grass that even stands on. So that's how beautifully Kambar describes Shurpanaka's Shringaram. So the Bibhatsa turns into Shringaram. So all the Navarasas, how do they become spiritual, right? The way I was thinking about it, it was a very interesting question. First of all, in Bharatiya thought, everything is spiritual. There is no, you cannot separate anything from spirituality, whether it's Sangeetam or Natyam or expression, anything leads to spirituality. And first of all, how do you translate spirituality? Upasana? Maybe? Sangeetam, Natyam, Upasana? So everything, it's a Sangeeta Upasana, Natya Upasana, everything is Upasana. So when you practice all the Navarasas, that is 8 rasas, which are Rajasic or Tamasic, that finally ends in Shantam. We get into that quiet space when you keep practicing dance, Natyam or Sangeetam. Finally, you get into that quiet space that is in the complete sattvic mode, or it can be translated as Shantam in the Navarasas. So all the 8 rasas finally get into that beyond emotion becomes pure bliss, which is Shantam. So that's where the spirituality or the Upasana comes.
Thank you, Jyoti Aunty. Our next question is for Kasturiji.
Namaste, my name is Meru, I'm from San Ramon. My question is, what if one makes a mistake in their performance, and also, what if you don't have a lot of audience members?
Oh, okay. I'll be fast here. Actually, it's okay to make mistakes when you perform, but usually your guru tells you like where you may fall down, or when you prepare for the concert. And probably, there are places where, there are 2 ways you can get better or refined in performing without trying to reduce your mistakes. By experience is one, by practice, and your guru will also guide you where you may go wrong or things like that. It's okay to have few people. Sometimes, if we had only few people in my concert, I would really love to engage with my accompanist and have a jam session or practice session there, right there. So it's a good thing.
So real quick answer to the question, is it okay to make a mistake on stage? It's human to err. But when we grew up, they never said it's okay to make a mistake. But an important lesson that was taught was by my grandfather, whatever you do with Shraddha. You have to do it with utmost sincerity. And you have done your work with utmost sincerity. You have tried your very best there. And human errors happen. But the most important lesson is after that. He said, never take your success to heart, nor your failure to heart. Say, taking your success to heart this is like keeping your ego down, right? In both cases, taking your success to heart means you're not going to be focused on to keeping up that high standard that you just were appreciated for. So your focus must be on how can I do better tomorrow, right? Don't keep the failures to heart. Because you think so great of yourself that you can't err, and you go and you make a mistake and you dwell on that instead of saying, how can I fix myself and do better? So again and again the answer comes back to, how can I fix myself? What went wrong? There is one important thing I have to say. In Lalgudi Mamas, there's a documentary, you can all look at it. Every day when he came back from the concert, in a journal, he wrote how he could play better. And he would have played the best, but he has underlined how he could have played much better, and he had maintained the journal. So this is the lesson you have to learn.
Just to add a minor point to this, as everyone acknowledges, it's very human to make a mistake. The reason why we practice enough is not to avoid mistakes, but to minimize mistakes, right? The more you practice, instead of making 15 mistakes, you are likely to make probably 6 or 7. And the intensity of mistakes are likely to be lower, as long as you get more familiar with the concept through practice. And the most important reason for practice is that we know that we make mistakes, but we don't feel guilty for not practicing and therefore committed a mistake.
Yeah.
Right? Even after practicing, if you make a mistake, what can you do? Could do nothing about it. It's just to get that guilt out of your system. You practice so much, and then humbly accept that I'm human enough to make a mistake. So mistakes happen at every level. Probably you may not, as a Rasika, get what mistakes that artists make, but we have conscience. Okay, every night before we sleep, after our concert, it's very human for us to get all the mistakes that we do. You might not even figure out what the mistakes were. We know as artists.
We have to keep reducing the mistake as and when we perform. Initially, maybe you may get into more mistakes or but of course, as he said, that's a very, very true point. Let's do all the hard work, and then in case if we won't have that guilt.
We will have one last question.
Namaskaram. I should say we are all truly blessed to literally sit at your feet, of all the gurus, and seek in the wisdom, to take in all the wisdom. My question is towards Guru Ram Prasad sir. As a Rasika, should I care or understand the inclination or the ideology of the performing artist to be able to truly appreciate or understand the music? Or does Sangeetam transcend the ideology?
Wow. Right. I'm so happy that this question probably doesn't come from a person who chooses not a specific brand of car, not because the car is faulty, but for reasons outside of that. The same way, ultimately it's our choice, right? As consumers of music, we can choose to be responsible consumers of music. Tesla பத்தி தான் பேசினேன். Several people might find that Tesla is a great car, but you may still not want to buy the car for reasons outside of the performance of the car, right? And you call yourself a responsible consumer there, but if you were to ask the same question as what you asked, I would see this as total hypocrisy, right? So, I can choose to be a responsible consumer of art the same way, or a consumer of art, right? Now, if I were to call myself a responsible consumer of art, let me try to give you a parallel, right? Let's say I go to a restaurant. The food is really good. And over time, I come to know that the restaurant owners are the ones who despise my parents in whichever way. The food is amazing, right? Now, we have a choice here. Tomorrow, am I going to the same restaurant because I want to have great food, regardless of what the owner thinks about my parents or how or bad, he has his views or he opines about my parents openly. He or she, openly opines about my parents. If you extend this logic, right? If you have the same level of ownership that you have with your parents to the roots of Carnatic music, then a person who is able to produce great art, if he or she is propagating ideologies which may be extremely offensive to the faith system that you care so much about, again, here is your choice. Right? Now, this goes back not only to the kind of philosophies and ideologies that some might subscribe to. Just think of the very fact of the divisive ideologies that we come across. This is intertwined with whether time memorial Carnatic music has been inclusive, and the answer is an emphatic yes. It's an emphatic yes. Starting from the Bhakti movement, let's not go even before that, right? You've had people of all backgrounds who have been great composers, whose music we all sing. We practice. Forget, join. We practice. Exclusive. What greatest Vidwans, Sri Nathvarthi, I don't even have to mention the name. It's Nathvarthi. It is properly. I'm trying to use it as best as possible. Nadaswara Chakravarti, T.N. Rajaratnam Pillai. What can you associate that to? You can associate that only to great art, nothing else. And he was a god, he is a god to all stratum of artists, regardless of caste, regardless of faith system, regardless of any religious identities and beliefs. What about Sheikh Chinna Maulana? What about KJ Yesudas? For the great parameter, these are all great artists. Right? The point is, as much as Sanatana Dharma has been inclusive for all kinds of philosophies, our Carnatic music has been as inclusive time memorial to include all possible people from all sections. Right? And they have made it really big. Has there been, now, the kind of people who ask for this kind of inclusivity, they are people who believe in evidence-based theories. Let's go here. Show me an evidence where a Sabha has disallowed a person based on his religion or his background or her background. That is from a Rasika's side. Give me example of a Sabha which has precluded an artist who belongs to a different faith system to perform. Do we have evidence? Show me hard evidence to prove that an artist refused to teach a student because he or she belonged to a different religion or a different background. Now, you may argue that these are not white and black and therefore they are gray areas. Yes, they may be great gray areas. But then show me a field for Carnatic music to follow. Tell me, Carnatic music field has to follow journalism. Is journalism 100% perfect? Let's go to movies. Film industry. Carnatic music, now you follow film industry because they are perfect. Let's go to corporate sector. Carnatic music, you have to follow corporate sector. Let's go to the health system. Carnatic music, you have to follow healthcare system, which is 100% perfect. Carnatic music, follow education system. That's 100% perfect. What I'm trying to say here is, maybe there were some instances, like in any other field, Carnatic music is not, if you term Carnatic music as an industry which provides entertainment through a bhakti marg, even if you define it in that sense, if you have to compare it with any other field, it is as similar to how you find other fields are. Right? So there is no example that Carnatic music can exclusively follow, and if you don't have such examples, why target Carnatic music if not for divisive ideologies? So all this means to say is, there is perhaps an agenda which you want to drive through these points, which has absolutely no evidence. If there is evidence, I bet here would be the first set of people to question that person or the institution to have been exclusive. And which artist doesn't want a crowd of 1,000 of all backgrounds? Would a sensible artist who spends money say that I want 10 people of a specific background? Or is it wise for him to say, I need 1,000 tickets to be sold? Let's think very, very logically. Why would I care at that point in time? Music is close to me, right? I want to sing in a packed auditorium, obviously, as a musician. That goes back to the question of how do I handle an empty auditorium? I want a full auditorium, right? So where is the question of exclusivity here? All this means to say is that I can choose to be a responsible consumer of art, where I say, if I am setting my foot to a concert, I am ensuring that the person is one who doesn't deride my roots. It could be my parents, it could be my grandparents, it could be my forefathers, it could be the roots which trace back to dharma and bhakti. So it is our choice.
So with that, I think really very fortunate. Vijayashri School of USA is very fortunate to have had the 5 very esteemed guests who are practitioners of the true Nija Marga of Nadopasana and Bharatanatyam.